Over 1 million people visit Belize yearly, strolling our sandy beaches and basking in the tropical delight. Before visitors even step foot in Belize, hundreds of stakeholders in our tourism industry remain busy at work to ensure Belize remains one of the top destinations in the world. Join me on The Inside View as we explore the work of industry insiders and find out what key stakeholders are doing to drive Belize's growing tourism industry. The Inside View, keeping you in the know. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Inside View. My name is Henry Wade, and with me this evening is Mr. Reynaldo Malik, Resorts Operations Manager, Muy'Ono. Good evening, Reynaldo.
Evening, Henry. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. So I just want to dive straight in, and it's interesting, Muy'Ono. Can you tell us a bit about that company? What exactly is Muy'Ono, and how does it operate?
Well, Muy'Ono is a hospitality and management company. It operates exclusively in Belize, although we do have a head office in Austin where we could do our marketing from. But in terms of operations, it's exclusively in Belize. And we are a turnkey organization in that we're not just resort managers, but we also have our own tour companies. We do our own marketing online. Whatever, we present an entire turnkey package, whether it's for one of the resorts that we own ourselves or whether it's for one of the managed resorts that we happen to operate on behalf of the respective owner.
How long has this company been in Belize? When did it start operations?
Well, it really started in earnest in 2015.
Okay.
And essentially it resulted from one dream being fulfilled, and then that dream escalated into something else.
Always starts with a dream. Right?
Always starts with a dream, yes. And that dream was essentially the owner, the founder of Muy'Ono, falling in love with Belize and wanting to spend all of his available free time in the country. So he purchased an island, and then he was intending on only using that for personal use and family use, his business in the US as well. They were going to use it as incentives to have employees come to Belize on vacation. And then somebody got the idea that, well, maybe you can make it pay for itself.
Why not expand?
If you started renting it out, right? And then that started, and then went from there. They purchased another island about 2 miles north that was closed down, and they brought that back online pretty quickly. And then the word started to spread that there was a company in town that would potentially manage your property for you. And so the next move from there was they started to take on resorts that the resort owners wanted to have managed by a professional company. And then there was more acquisitions and more resorts added, to the point where now we're at 9 resorts, including one that's still being built. And then we have our tour companies as well. And it's just really gone from one dream to another dream.
Explain to the audience what sets Belize apart. Why does Belize stand out for Muy'Ono? Well,
I think that there's a number of different answers that you could give to that particular question. I don't think any is more important than the other. But I believe that one of the things that makes it easy to sell Belize, to promote Belize or market Belize, when you're selling to a potential traveler, right? There's always a sense of apprehension. Am I going to pay this money and get the services that I want for it? Am I going to go somewhere that I'm going to feel at ease? I mean, you're going to travel a couple thousand miles. You're not going to know anybody. And so being able to achieve some level of comfort,
absolutely,
I feel is critical to convincing a potential traveler that Belize is the destination that they want to go to. Layered onto that is what Belize has to offer, right? Natural attractions. The majority of I'd say 95% of what we sell to guests in Belize is natural. It's built in. It's not contrived in any way. We have to build a platform for zip lining, but we're zip lining from a tree to another tree that's probably a couple hundred years old. Right. So it's not a contrived product when you come to Belize. This is all natural. It's the barrier reef, it's the ancient Mayan sites, it's rivers, it's it's just Belize. It's what it is. It's what we inherited, right?
Those are crucial factors, values that any organization ought to attain. So how do those values play a role in the daily activities of the resorts under Muy'Ono?
Sure, I'll give you an example. I mentioned earlier about selling the destination as opposed to focusing on selling the room.
Right.
So one of the biggest upsides to Belize is culture, right?
Absolutely.
We've marketed ourselves from as far back as I can remember as a melting pot of cultural diversity.
Right.
So you just have to look at our staff at our resorts and you see that cultural diversity. Whether it's somebody from St. Bite working alongside somebody from Orange Walk, or somebody driving one of the vans that hails from Benque Viejo, but the person at the front desk is from Belize City, or the operations manager is from Belize City, right? So you start there, you see the cultural diversity. But then we also try to reflect the cultural diversity in other aspects of operations as well. For instance, at one of our resorts, the restaurant uniforms are cultural, not just on in a particular time of the year. That's year round.
Right.
It's based on Mayan heritage. It's based on Garifuna heritage as well. The food, the culinary choices are all what our model that we're pushing now is to take a dish that would be familiar to a visitor, but then give it a decidedly Belizean twist to it. Right. Our ceviche is served with a variety of chips. Normally, you get that with corn chips. So we have corn chips, cassava chips, plantain chips, all in with that one serving of ceviche. So we're trying to, if you want to look at it this way, we're trying to give the guests a cultural explosion with that one serving. We're strategically located very close to Mayan communities, to Garifuna communities, to Creole communities, just so that we can soak in what those various cultures have to offer.
There's that immediate touch.
Exactly.
In your surroundings, environment.
So it's not just about making the guests feel comfortable, but we're also trying to make our employees feel comfortable so that they can impart their cultural experience, their life. Two of which, the ones that we're very proud of, that we offer aggressively, is the Living Mayan Experience, which we do down in Big Falls, Toledo. And then we also do the Garifuna Culinary Experience as well, or Culinary Adventure, that's done in Hopkins.
Unpack those for us. What's considered to be the Mayan package?
Well, basically what it does is it gives you an in-depth view into what it means to be Mayan, not just today, but in the past. So, it'll give you a look into how they lived, how they utilized nature, everything in nature to make their life easy. And it even gives you an opportunity to make some Mayan food. That's my favorite part of it. I love to eat. So my favorite part of the experience was actually learning to make corn tortillas, and they actually put you through the paces. You have to grind on the stone.
Right.
You have to ground your own corn to make your tortilla.
So it's hands-on.
It's very hands-on, very interactive.
Right.
But it's very fulfilling. One, you learn a lot. It's very educational. And two, at the end, you get to sit down and have a traditional Mayan meal at the end of it in a Mayan house.
And one of the other values you mentioned, sustainability. How does that play a role in terms of the offerings that Muy'Ono provides?
Well, you've got to look at it this way, right? Much of what Belize has to offer, much of what Muy'Ono markets is based on nature. And if you don't protect nature, then we're not going to have it much longer and be able to
there's nothing to come back to.
There's nothing to come back to, right? So we all have to do our parts. For us, that could be anything from, we've banned plastic straws from all of our resorts. We've banned single-use plastic. When a guest checks into a Muy'Ono resort, part of the greeting process is that you're presented with a branded water bottle, aluminum, that one functions as a takeaway from your vacation, but also while you're here in Belize, we ask that you use that, or we suggest that you use that for your water needs, so that you don't leave behind plastic litter, so to speak, right? Or off-grid properties, which have to function between solar and diesel generators. The moment you start talking diesel, you're talking diesel fumes, which isn't good for the environment either. So we're adding more solar capacity to our off-grid resorts so that we can cut back our dependence on
fossil fuels.
On fossil fuel, and eventually we hope to eliminate the use of generators at our properties. Perhaps we probably keep it as a plan C, but we are exploring sustainable energy at our off-grid properties so that we can really and truly say that we're really pushing sustainability to the limits that technology allows us to.
Can you list or name or tell us the names of the 9 resorts that you guys have?
Oh, I better not forget any of these, or else my WhatsApp will be blowing up. So I'll start down south. We have Copal Tree Lodge. Okay. It's about 4 miles outside of Punta Gorda. And if you haven't experienced it, you need to experience it. It's again, the uniqueness of it, right? We also have the Placencia, which is, although named for the village, is actually about 9 miles away from the village. We have Brisa Oceano, which is in Placencia village itself. And as you come further north, we have Hopkins Bay Resort in Hopkins, of course. And then offshore, we have Tatch Key. It's about 9 miles, just slightly southeast of Dangriga. And then south of that, we have Royal Belize. And then we have Ranguana Key, which is technically in the Toledo district as well. And then we go out west and we have what was formerly Deploys, is now Sweet Songs Jungle Lodge. And you would have to pay a visit there and wake up early in the morning, and you'll right away get why we named it Sweet Songs. And then we are now presently developing another island that's going to be specific for our fly fishing business, and that's called Northeast Key. And the lodge on it is going to be Blue Horizon. And that's also south in the Stancrick district as well. It's about 9 miles northeast of the Placencia Marina. So those are our properties that we currently feature in the Muy'Ono portfolio as it is right now.
Well, Reynaldo, it's been a pleasure. Great speaking with you. Great learning about Muy'Ono. And so we invite everyone to visit their website to learn more about the resorts. So thanks again.
Awesome being on the show. Thank you.